Be independent at home and avoid the embarrassment of having to ask someone else to do these 3 things. Welcome to Epically Simple Basics. I'm JR, and if you want to learn practical life skills and make your life easier and more fun, then remember to hit the subscribe button. Today you'll learn 3 basic life skills that you need to know for home living. Doesn't matter if you live in a trailer, a mansion, or an apartment, you need to know these skills because it's simply embarrassing to ask someone else to do them for you, and they're too simple and easy not to learn. Number 1 is changing a light bulb. First thing you want to do is turn the switch off. You don't want to get an electrical shock. Now if you need to take off a bowl or a cover to get access to the light bulb, remember to use one hand to hold up the bowl or cover and use the other hand to loosen the attaching hardware. Gently unscrew the bad bulb and set it aside. Remember to dispose of it later. Be very gentle when you unscrew it. You don't want to squeeze it too hard and break it and cut yourself. Make sure you have the correct size light bulb because the bases that screw in, they actually do come in different sizes. When you've got the new bulb, go ahead and screw it into place very gently. You don't want to over tighten it and you don't want to drop it. Put the bowl or the cover back on, then turn the light on and enjoy the glory and brightness of your self-changed light bulb. Number 2 is resetting a flipped breaker. If the lights go out or if the power goes off in only one room or one area of the house, it might just be a trip breaker. The first thing you're going to want to do is figure out where your breaker box is. It could be in a basement, it could be in a closet, a hallway, cubby hole in a bedroom. It really could be anywhere in the house as there's not any standard placement when building a house. When you find the breaker box, go through all of the breakers and look for the one that's positioned different than the rest of them. Most breakers are going to have 3 different positions: on, tripped, and off or reset. When a breaker is tripped, usually it's positioned somewhat in the middle. Off or reset will be on either of the sides, and then on will be on the opposite side. Now, when you find the breaker that's tripped, you want to flip it to the off position or reset. That's why it's called reset. Flip it there first to reset it, and then flip it to the on position. If you accidentally flip it to the on position, most of the time it'll just spring back to the trip position, or if the string is strong enough, it'll flip it back to the off position. So it's reset and then just set it to the on position. Once you've got the breaker set to the on position, as long as it doesn't automatically flip off again, then check the room where the power was lost and make sure power's back again. Make sure everything's working. Now there's several different things that can cause a breaker to flip. You want to make sure that you're not overloading the circuits, plugging in too many things into a single outlet or power strip, and also make sure you're not using a device that's pulling more amperage than what that leg of the house can handle. If you're still having problems with it, look into calling an electrician. Number 3 is plunging a toilet. Now if it's overflowing or if it's getting close to overflowing where the water's spilling out, you want to be quick and shut the water off. First, take the lid off of the tank, reach in and pull up on the float. That stops the flow of the water. And while you have the float held up, reach down and turn the water feed off. Now just a minor interruption here. If you didn't already know, this is how a toilet works. The tank is filled with water to a certain position. When you flush the toilet, it opens a flap and lets the water run from the tank to the bowl. When the water level in the bowl becomes higher than the hump in the back of the toilet, then gravity and air pressure take over and forces the water through the septic or sewage system. Now since the water from the tank spilled out into the bowl to fill it up to start this whole process, that let the float go down. When the float goes down in the tank, it turns the filler on and fills the tank back up with water. As the water rises, the float, that's why it's called a float, it floats up, and when it gets to the top of that predetermined point, it shuts the filler off again, so your tank is full and ready to go for another flush. Now you've got the water turned off and you're ready to start plunging the toilet. First off, make sure you've got the right plunger. Now when we think plunger, when we hear the word plunger, we normally think of the cup style plunger, but that's actually for plunging a sink when a sink is clogged up. The flange style is what's for toilets. Make sure you got the right plunger. Now put the plunger in the toilet and get the flange into the hole and gently push on it to push the air out of the plunger. Now start plunging slowly and gently and get harder and faster if needed. As you're plunging, the water level should drop, and it should drop enough to where you actually notice it. Once the water level gets below the normal standing level, then remove the plunger slowly because there's going to be water in it and you want to let that water drain out. But when you remove the plunger from the hole, if it's it's cleared, it should go ahead and finish flushing the rest of the way by itself. Now you can turn the water back on and give it a test flush. If you can't get it unclogged yourself, you might want to look into trying using a plumber's snake, or you might just call a plumber. Now here's a bonus tip. Keep some common tools around the house. Common tools like an adjustable wrench,
An adjustable wrench?
a hammer, screwdrivers, both Phillips and flat, adjustable pliers and needle nose pliers can be useful in a lot of different situations. And you never know when you might need something, so it's good to have them around the house. Check out the links in the description below if you need some tools. Did you already know how to do these 3 things that we discussed in this video? What other things would you add to the list? Leave a comment down below and let me know. Learn more basic life skills that are useful in everyday life by subscribing, and keep up to date with new skills by clicking the bell icon. And hey, check out this video I did with my son Gabriel. You can also check out my playlist of basic life skills that are helpful with cars. And remember, keep learning and have fun.